Story time!
Story time!
So what are we going to talk about today, Maya?
Today we are going to do 5 tips to make a lot of money while you're waitressing that are mostly legal.
Okay.
Yes.
So Maya and I met, we're famously waitresses.
Famously waitresses. This is Smokey, by the way. He's appeared before, but he would like to appear again. He has never waitressed in his life.
No, you're terrible.
He's a spoiled bully.
You're terrible. The food never makes it to the table.
We eat it all.
Oh, okay. Making out. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So what is the go-to for being a waitress? When you would go over to a table, did you ever give your actual name to people?
Absolutely not.
Never. I never did either. If questioned, I would give a fake name, which was generally the name of a friend of mine.
Yes. Liz. We should start out by saying we waitress together. That's actually how we met.
Yes.
We worked at a place on Union Square called Coffee Shop that is no longer open.
Yeah, it's gone now. It is no longer with us. Mm-hmm. But it was an institution in New York for a long time, and it was known for having not the most capable staff.
Yeah.
Is that a diplomatic way to say?
Well, we were not required to
not a
do
lot
anything other than look good.
Asked of us. Yes.
Yes.
Your job to be employed there was to show up and to look okay. You had to look attractive.
It was better if you looked good.
Yeah, it was better if you looked good. But that was really where it ended. You really didn't have to have a whole lot more than that. No experience necessary. I had no experience. I walked in with a friend of mine who looked like me, and they hired us both at the same time. And they trained us together and put us in the same section. It was really weird.
They probably needed a blonde at the time.
they got 2.
So Coffee Shop was a diner. Like, it was like this luxury diner on Union Square.
Google it. If you don't know of the Coffee Shop, if you never lived in New York, go ahead and Google it. It's it was a New York institution of like the 90s. We were there in the 2000s.
We were there after it was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were like the B team.
Yeah, I kind of crested in the 90s. But that's okay. We still did really well there.
We made good money.
And we made good friends.
Yeah, we made friends. And so anyway, but we kind of figured out some hacks for waitressing when we were there. Now, I would say that there's 5 that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
I was not a highly skilled waitress. In that I was not good at it.
You were, no, for a coffee shop you were great.
Right,
Mine would take like 2 sections and just like be an animal through it. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it. I always had to have like a stable section.
Yeah.
Because I needed to be rude to everyone. So I had to make sure that I was doing an impeccable job. Because if you're going to be mean, you have to be good.
Right. Now, I was not impeccable. So I was generally pretty nice to people. But my number 1 tip was that I would always spend the most time with tables that I could figure out were going to give me the most money. Now, for me, that meant tables of like finance douchebags. How do you recognize a finance douchebag? Well, we had a code name for them back in the day. We called them blue shirts khakis.
Yeah. Or Chad.
Chad
was the other, the quicker name.
Yes. So with the Chads, I was always like, I had a different line for every night of the week. And every night of the week, I was like, you guys should just order drinks. So there was Wasted Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday, Toast to Tuesday, and I would just get them to order drink after drink after drink and, you know, pretend that I liked them. Sometimes I did. Sometimes I gave guys my number. But this would result in pretty high tips, and for someone who was like a marginally competent waitress, this worked for me. Now, there is a downside to this hack in that you may wind up, you know, with some stalkers.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to
now they know where you work.
Right. And they might ask you what nights you're there. But that's where Courtney's first tip comes in handy, that you don't give them your real name.
So when they come in and say, when does Liz work? Liz works different days.
Yeah,
There is a Liz, and so they might be looking for her.
It works for me. So that's hack number 1. Hack number 2.
Hack number 2, have someone you can trade off a table you don't want to. Like I had Ted, so like I did not like having the finance bro table. That was just not where I lived in waitressing.
That wasn't your demographic.
It's not my demographic. Yeah. You know what I did well with? I preferred tables of all women because then they would respect me.
Yeah, I never wanted that.
I would trade for them because I would rather talk to nice ladies than douchey bros anytime. So I would have Ted, our friend Ted, mean Ted, would go over when a table got in trouble with me. I would send him over, and then they knew they were in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I went back, then they were nicer because they'd essentially been put in punishment.
There you
they were
go.
on waitress punishment. They got the boy waiter. Sorry,
The
Ted.
boy waitress.
Sorry, Ted.
All right, so number 3 for me, there were at coffee shop a lot of waitresses that did this thing where it was like, I am such competent waitress that I don't write anything down. No. Like, I couldn't remember, I know you did that. You didn't write shit down, did you?
In the beginning, I did not.
But you need to write shit down.
Then I started writing things down because I stopped caring.
Right.
But in the beginning, it was like kind of a point of pride because there's a limited number of items on the menu.
Right.
There's not that many combinations. And mostly you look at people and you know what they're going to order.
But here's the thing.
Look, this lady's getting the seared tuna salad and a Diet Coke. This lady's getting sesame chicken and a iced tea. You know that table.
But you have a
when they
table
walk
of
in.
like 6 people, and sometimes they might order, like, someone orders a sesame chicken salad, someone orders a sesame chicken salad with no chicken, someone orders sesame chicken
Extra
salad,
tortillas.
extra tortillas, and that's where it starts to get crazy. And I would often take more tables. Like, I would be the person to pick up other people's sections because I always wanted to walk away. We worked at a restaurant where we kept the money we made. It was not a pool house. So I was always incentivized to do as much as I could. So finally I just learned how to write things down, and I developed my own little code. I still write chicken in my code, like when I write CHX.
Chicken.
Sesame chick salad, like it was like S chick salad.
Duh.
Like if you read my code, you would not know what it said, but I knew what it said and then could bring in the entire order. So that was number 3. Hack number 4 is that celebrities are not always going to be the biggest tippers.
They're not.
They're not.
Almost never.
Yeah. One time, I'll just blow them up because I don't think it matters. I think Ashanti was with Nelly.
Yes.
I'm gonna spill some tea.
Some tea.
Is that
Ooh.
the same?
I
It's
think
coffee,
it used to be.
What do the kids say now? So I was in this back section of the restaurant. It was a Sunday night. It was midnight. I was in the
101.
Table 101. I was in the World Room of Coffee Shop. Ashanti and Nelly, I guess they were together then. I don't know if they still are now, but they came in with their entourage at midnight, and I was supposed to be cut. And so when I saw them come in, I was like, I think I was pretty new at the time, so I assumed, okay, I'm going to get a huge gratuity on this table. And we had this thing after midnight that we could auto-grat the table, but because they were celebrities, the manager was like, we're not auto-gratting them. Basically, I was there until like 2:30 in the morning when it closed. They ordered completely off the menu, and then they tipped me maybe 10% on the entire bill. So I stayed late. Like, I started that day at 4. I wound up staying until like 3 in the morning.
Lose.
Yeah.
Bad tip. Lose.
Bad tip. So celebrities, you shouldn't give them any more of your time than you do a table of finance bros.
And here's another tip. If there's just 2 people, a celebrity and someone else, you should really be nice to the non-celebrity person because a lot of times they're paying.
Yeah.
You know? And they may have been a waiter or waitress in, like, at some point in their life, whereas people who've never done that job tend to not value it or care.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a depressing tip. Although, I have also gotten some really big tips from famous people, too.
Julianne Moore was really nice.
She's always lovely.
I was awful to her table. Like, I forgot her Diet Coke, and I think they gave me like 25% tip. But I had like an emotional breakdown because I forgot Julianne Moore's Diet Coke. Like, I wanted to curl into a ball and die when I figured out I hadn't brought her drink.
Yeah. Aw.
Like I said, not a good waitress. You would have been better off with Smokey waiting on you.
He would have been so cute.
Oh, can
he
you
would have made so
imagine?
much money. I would just give him a 20 every time you walked by. He'd be like, oh, hey.
Can I take your order?
I thought you said you wanted extra dressing.
I thought you said I could have a bite. Would you like a sesame chicken salad?
Struggling.
Okay, what's your next tip?
So what are we on? We're on 4?
I think we're on 5.
5? I don't know. I wasn't a great waitress. I weirdly never got in trouble, but I definitely was not afraid to yell at people. I was mean. I think I was a mean waitress.
That's your tip, is yell at people.
Yeah, I guess like establish your authority. Like I was not nice.
Maybe we should call this 5 tips for surviving waitressing and not for making a lot of money. Because I don't know that yelling helps you make money. Well, here's another number 5. How about take on more tables than you think you can serve?
I guess you're right. Let's go. Oh, you know what? Well, it might be too inside baseball to transferring tables.
Transfers.
Get people to transfer you all their tables.
Right. Well, I think that actually applies to most restaurants. We should also add that these tips kind of apply if you're making your own money. Because I also worked at a place that was a pool house. And basically my tip for working in a pool house is like, only put in as much effort as the worst person that works there.
Yeah.
Because listen, you're gonna get screwed. I got a $500 tip at this pool house I worked at, and it got divided up between the rest of the staff.
Seems not fair. And
it was extremely not fair.
When I got some big tips from some of the celebrities and other people that came in, they would ask if usually anyone tipping you big used to be a server at some point or a bartender. Yeah. And then they would know enough to ask, do you have to split your tips? And I would be like, no.
Yeah. So if you like this, or if we left anything out and you worked as a waitress or a waiter or a male waitress, whatever word you want to use, leave us a comment. Please like and subscribe. We love subscribers. We will be back with more food videos. We just thought we would do some story times to mix it up. And because I am going to South by Southwest, this is Maya and Courtney. Hello. And then this is Smokey.
This is Smokey.
He's a pug.
Isn't he so handsome? Everyone always says how handsome he is.
He's a really good looking dog.
Yeah.
Bye-bye!
Oh, sorry.
Stick my dick in your coffee.